Good morning, people. Welcome back. A few administrative notes. Yes, last time we met, the video went dead because my battery quit. Hence my purchase of a AC adapter, which is not here yet. Thank you, Mr. Bezos and Amazon. That should alleviate that. We left it basically when I talked about when you email the quotation to your customer. And at that time, doing some telephone follow-up to where, did you get the quotation? Okay. If he doesn't have time to talk to you, set up a time convenient to talk to him, discuss it. Get as much feedback and intelligence as you can on that matter as far as how to go over what the people say, how do we stack up. We're going to make the second cut. We still competitive? Oh, we weren't. How much were we off? Can you give me a percentage? Ask those kind of questions to try to get as much feedback as possible. It's not over until they cut the PO. And even at that point, it's still not over. So don't give up. Don't ever give up until they say, Mike, the boat has sailed and there's not too much else you can do. To which you can come back later on and say, hey, how'd that CMM go? Or how'd that machine tool go that you purchased? You still happy with it? So you can maintain contact. There's always future potential. One thing I like about this channel is the fact I got pretty good feedback on views so far. A couple of them coming from some very professional industrial salespeople that have been selling pumps in the maintenance section for years. And they pointed out a few things. One, I always recommend the typical business suit, which is a blue blazer, white or blue shirt, khaki or gray slacks, low quarters or, whatever you want to go on the wingtips, leather shoes. Don't show up in sneakers and Nikes, this kind of thing. But that's a typical industrial uniform, basically. It works everywhere, pretty much accepted. There are occasions, and you have to be aware of your customer. Where, as it was pointed out to me by these pump fellows, that some maintenance people are very union-centric and think that you are looking down on them when you show up with a suit. I know it has happened. You have to be aware of your audience, so be conscious of that fact. One thing I did not know is that the 15 to 40% of the manufacturing cost in industry last year, 15 to 40%, was maintenance and the maintenance budget. That's a lot. If you're running 40% maintenance, I don't know what industry that is, but that's the facts. So it's probably I'm guessing about 50% of the industrial sales efforts are geared toward the maintenance budgets, the smaller dollar items. Very similar to a strategy used for consumer sales, in that you have a lower dollar, very price-sensitive product, and it's not too much demonstration-oriented as much as it is doing the negotiations in person, and that's going to come in future videos, how we take care of that. But just be aware of that. That'll be covered in future. Hopefully, also, I'll have future interviews with these experienced guys doing this in industrial sales for years, the pros that have been doing that. So that's a little bit of the housekeeping situation there. And also, one more note, Jake, our collector, has vanished. I don't know what the deal is on that. I've got all kinds of calls from Karen and Human Resources wanting to know where he is. Sorry, Karen, I don't know where he is. Yeah. I've got Elwood there making inquiries, and we'll see how that goes. So you presented the quotation to the customer via email. Hopefully you'll get to phase 2. You'll be invited to actually come in and do a presentation on your proposal in front of the committee or the person doing the buying. First thing to do on that is find out about the audience. Who is going to be in attendance? What are their disciplines? Is it going to be engineering, manufacturing, controller going to be there? The good news is you have a lot of factory support, because at that meeting you can probably bring in some big factory guns. And this is where it's really the fact that you're selling your company as well as the product, and instilling in the customer that confidence level to go with you. You are their solution. You are the lowest risk, best solution they can possibly buy. And I've done such things as bring in various factory people showing the flag, president of the whatever it is, America, that you're representing, and showing the flag that way. Have, in fact, even brought in the owner of the company on occasion. CEOs and owners like that because, one, they can get away from the office and all the drudgery out there that goes with running the office. We all know that 90% of the problems you have after you get to the top are human problems with people. You know, cash flow is going to take care of itself if you've done your business properly, if you're making a good product, turnover, this kind of thing. The business is going to be there, but these human being problems, man, oh man, that's where the headaches are. So they like getting out in front of the customer. Second thing is it's an ego spike for them, saying, yeah, I went in and helped Mike close the order, and he can talk to his golf buddies about that when he's out on the golf course on Saturday. Don't be afraid to ask that. That's also a good advantage for you. I've even had a letter personally written to one of the key people on the committee or the owner saying, hey, we're a small business, you're a small business, we would like to partner with you. And this just adds all kinds of credibility to this, as opposed to a bunch of suits coming in and doing a presentation from a nebulous board out there owned by some company in a foreign country. Nobody has any real tie into that. So that's very powerful. One thing that I've done also on key orders, I think it was $1 million project, I actually had the president of the company call the guy direct and say, look, I have the best product, here's why. No, I'm not going to screw you. You got my company, you got my name, and my word that it's going to be a very good sale for you, and we can partner and do this and go forward. That's personal selling. That's the zenith of that aspect. One thing you may want to do at this presentation is bring up your previous case studies and good success stories. It helps if you have empirical data, such as a certifiable return on investment, where you've done the actual numbers. You show how soon that machine is going to be paid for, and because of the cost savings associated with that. We will go into this in more detail, but the ROI, the justification, why they should go with you, that if you cannot get to the product demonstration, if this is going to be your last best case, that's where you use these tools. Customer references, local references, where we put in similar installations with the guy across town, the guy in this same state, 50 miles away. Set up a plant tour. You can go over there and see and talk to these people if you want. Make sure that it's a good installation. If you screwed them over there and they've had installation problems and the thing never worked right, I don't recommend you take them to those guys for that reference. But and that happens. There are reasons for that. In any industry, in any company, you're going to have a few flyers in there that just nothing went right. It was late on delivery, couldn't install right. You installed it, still wouldn't work. I mean, that's life, and it happens. You can't crawl up in a ball and start crying. You just say, what else can go wrong? And it happens. And then, if you can part ways and shake hands with a guy after that, it's called a success. But that's part of life. Customer references, that's powerful. If you cannot go and do the actual product demonstration, that's your best thing. One more thing. If this is your last best guess, make sure you bring in the meeting someone from your organization that has the ability to look the customer eyeball to eyeball, take out the pencil and say, we would like your business, what's it going to take? There goes a price. There goes your commission, but as the saying goes in sales, a little bit of something is better than nothing of nothing. So your commission went down and you only got 2%. All right. 2% is better than zero. At least you can buy dog food and you aren't going to starve to death. But have that price negotiation capability with you if this is a last best gas. Hopefully, you'll get on to what's more important, the product demonstration. One thing about the product demonstration, you are in charge. Do not let the applications manager or the applications people try to pull a run on you. They have nothing to gain and everything to lose if the order is not won. Thought that was Jake, but it wasn't. In any event, yes, the application people are wonderful at what they do. They can show you every nuance of the machine. They can show you the programming. It looks like a high school kid could program it and you get excellent results. I mean, that's just what they do. They do this day in and day out, and that's their cup of tea. And the thing that you have to do is take charge initially. Say, look, guys, I am bringing you guys my customers. Here are their requirements, and list them out specifically. This is what they want to see. This is what we must show them. Choreograph the meeting when this happens. You sit down with the application guys and go through this specifically. I want to show X, Y, Z. I know it'll do A, B, C, D, E, F. We can do that later, but we have to concentrate in the first 15 minutes. They come in, they see it do what they want to do, and it does it successfully. At that point, we can go into the embellishments, the gingerbread on it, the sizzle on the steak, if you will, all these other sales hyperboles. But you've accomplished what you want to do. The other thing you want to do is choreograph this to where customers come in and sit, and they're impressed already with your facility because it's in wonderful, beautiful surroundings. Got a waterfall out front. Very attractive male or female people at the door. Again, it depends on where you're located. But in any event, wow, this is a nice class act place. Bring them into the conference room, sit down with them, and we go over what we're going to see. Like the old saying says when you're giving a speech. Tell them what you're going to tell them, you tell them, and then you tell them what you told them. So sit them down. We go through the introduction. This is a company. It started out, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't have to be long. We're talking about maybe 15 minutes, could go as long as a half hour, depending on their interactions. This is a company. This is what we do. That could also include an introduction of the players. This is Joe. He's the application guy. This is Sid. He's a training manager. This is Mary. She takes care of all the invoicing, accounting, this kind of thing. You can go through and do that scenario. We're going to get down to the demo facility, to the actual demo, but what I recommend is you outline what you're going to do. Don't take them on a plant tour initially, and there's a reason for that. In all product demonstrations, I've been doing this for 40 years. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong at exactly the wrong time. I seriously have had, about 3 years ago, one of the worst demos in my entire 40 years. From experienced people with years of experience, nothing would go right. Absolutely nothing. It happens. Yeah, keep going on. But why you do not want to take the plant tour, because if you see with your experience that the demo's not going well, say, well, let's give Joe, the demo guy, a little more time to work on that, and let's go take a plant tour and come back. You're going to have to take a plant tour anyway. It takes a big, Joe's out there sweating bullets anyway. God, I got to get this thing going. Gets him some relief, buys him some time. You get some backup help if he needs help on that, so you aren't fumbling around in front of the customer trying to make something succeed. So just be aware of that. It's the same thing with the training class. Always have a backup to buy you some time. All right, this is the fellow in charge of training or the lady in charge of training. She'll give you a thumbnail of what you can expect, and this is going to be classroom syllabus-based training. We always make sure we have no more than 2 students per terminal to go over the software, this kind of thing, and that'll buy you some time as well. But you got to skull this out, do a lot of thinking, and have the backup plans, bang, 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 before you say, "Boy, this is about the worst demo I've been in my life." So that's another thing we can do on that. Once you've shown the customer your solution, then you can go into all the nice things about your product that the competition does not have. Don't do a me too. They've already seen the other guy's product probably, so more me too is not going to be the answer. You need to focus in on what I'll give you an example. One machine tool online I saw, they had a setup situation where they could set up in a matter of under 1 minute, as opposed to taking about 5 to 8 minutes the old-fashioned way with the old-fashioned dial indicators, this kind of thing. That is a definite plus because your setup time, anytime you save time, you're saving money. And especially at $100 an hour minimum. I mean, that's what a Ford car dealership charges. Now, if it's not more than that, I think it's about $120 an hour. So you're saving minutes. That adds up to hours. That adds up to days over a year. So that's a good story to tell as well. But that's what you want to focus in on. So I've gone on here for about 15 plus minutes, and I'll begin. I'd like to tell you that we're going to be covering overcoming objections, and that's going to be another video. It's too much to cover now. I'm just finishing up the sales process. And in the sales process, the last thing I will tell you is ask for the order. Don't be afraid to ask for the order. Do you know how many sales guys out there still do not know how to ask for the order? You might say, hey, I've been in the business for a while, and I've seen a lot of applications that were good fits, not so good fits. And right now, I think our machine with these options is going to give you your best advantage on that. Really think it can be a good fit. We like your business, like to have your order, and what can we do to make sure that we secure this and can go forward? Be honest with that and go from there. And with that, come here, Elwood. Don't forget, Elwood. Hi. He's looking for Jake. Jake's lost out there. We don't know where he is, but don't forget, I'm not above begging for money, so soliciting PayPal. No, I'm okay on that. I just thought I'd try a little bit of monetization there. It helps write off the expense of developing this stuff. Anyway, that's what I got. See ya.